But the reality of it is the other part of the side of the coin is that there's a huge stigma when it comes to living with diabetes. One, that there's no other, that I know of, disease where the person, especially with type 2, but because type 2 are 90 to 95% of diabetics out there, you get blamed for a disease. You often, and it's perpetuated by the media, and oftentimes I've seen it happen in medical settings as well, where the person with diabetes, they could be, whether or not what their weight is or they could be healthy. I know actually several people with type 2 diabetes who are extraordinarily fit, who are very well, nutritionally educated, and they have a very strong genetic predisposition to disease, but people don't know that, and people get blamed. So that's why when I ask this question and people don't raise their hand, I know that there's a shame factor that comes into living with diabetes, because I live with it and I watch the community, and I'm heavily involved in the community about people getting blamed for a disease that nobody deserves to have. So you probably realize at this point, I'm going to give you just a few stats. I'm not a stat person. I'm going to give you the human side of this. That's why I'm here. But the reality of it is that since 1980 to 2014, we've gone from 108 million people in the world to 422 million. I'm sure this is not anything that you guys in here don't already know. This is coming to be an epidemic. And what I would like to do from where I'm standing, what I am doing, is to help people live happy and healthy with diabetes, because at this point, I'm not sure about the cure. So let's do what we can with what we have right now. So the landscape of diabetes care. This blue circle, has anybody in here ever seen this blue circle before? Okay, so this is the international symbol for diabetes awareness. Like, breast cancer has a pink ribbon. This is by the International Diabetes Federation. World Diabetes Day is November 14th. This is the symbol that is used to represent diabetes. And I kind of just put like a little line in there to represent the reality of what a person with diabetes deals with. And that black line is to represent the amount of time in a year that we spend with our healthcare professionals. The rest of the blue circle, more than 8,000 hours a year, we are self-managing our disease with little to no input from anybody on our healthcare team, not because they're not willing to do it, but because in the middle of the night and 3 in the morning, we need to make decisions that we have to make on our own. And this is the landscape of diabetes care. And of the 30 million, and I'm just going to use the United States statistics that I have, of the 30 million people in the United States that are living with diabetes, less than half of those people are meeting the minimum standard of health, meaning the A1Cs of 7 or 7.5 or below, depending on where you're getting your standards from, cholesterol levels, weight levels, and in the medical community, there's a box that gets checked that is called non-compliant. And as people living with diabetes, and the mindset we'll talk about quite a bit more, languaging matters. And I would argue that the reason that most of the people, less than half of the people living with diabetes, are unable to be compliant and reach these goals that are being set for them by their healthcare team is because they're not getting the support that they need emotionally. And living with a disease like diabetes, where it is 24/7, if that emotional side of diabetes is not being addressed, it's great if you give us insulin and if we get, glucometers and CGMs, but it becomes overwhelming, and that needs to be addressed in the medical setting, and it's coming. I've seen it in the last 7 years of me doing this, what I do. I've seen it coming a huge way, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, because we have to work together. We have to work together as we can't do this without the medical side, but people with diabetes can't do this without the expert peer mentor side either.